Today we are talking about scientific ways to be happy. Yes, you absolutely have the power to do this, and you don't need anything else but your willingness to do so. How is it we can do some amazing and sometimes unexplainable things, like heal our own bodies by the power of our thought? Mother's intuition, the law of attraction. Can we really tap into our subconscious mind? Can we really create our own realities? It begs the question, are we novice gods? Hey, I am super excited to share this with you today. We're talking about scientific ways to be happy, and I gotta tell you, this is amazing stuff. I love happiness, and I love it so much because, well, here's a little bit about me. I don't know if you know much about me, but I'm a documentary filmmaker, and I'm an app maker. I created the Feed Your Happy app. I wrote a book called The 7 Core Skills of Everyday Happiness. I teach a course on how to get happy now. I love happiness. And I love happiness because I didn't always have it. In fact, for like a decade of my life, I was so angry and frustrated and empty, and if anybody asked me if I was unhappy, I wouldn't say I was unhappy. I was just like everybody else, but yet I was unsatisfied, and I knew that. And it wasn't until I experienced what true happiness was. It wasn't until I found out that there is science to happiness that I was able to change my life, that I was able to feel again, feel just this fullness. And so I'm just so happy to share some of those things with you. So anyway, I hope that makes sense to you. From a guy coming from just absolute darkness to this light of hope, it has been transformative. So much of it happened when I learned about positive psychology. I don't know if you know about that, but it is the science of happiness. I'll explain just a little bit. So positive psychology is relatively new, like in the last 20, 25 years. They've been studying the happiest, the most resilient, the most successful people, finding out what's going right in their lives. You know, normally in psychology, they look at what's going wrong and they have like some neuroses that they will tag to you, some label that will explain why you behave the way you do. Well, instead, with positive psychology, they said, we want to look at what is going right and how can we augment that? How can we continue that pattern? How can we help people flourish and become more and just really kind of happiness at will. So that's a little bit about the science, the start of it. Harvard, UC Berkeley, University of Pennsylvania are some of the leading research facilities on positive psychology. You can check that out, and anyway, hopefully that'll help you. Now, as we talk about happiness, I just got to kind of back up and ask you a question. What do you really want in life? You know, what are you focused on? And what do you think you want? You know, maybe you have in your mind it's this big house, or it's this, you know, great marriage, or it's this trip around the world, or it's a lifestyle of luxury or something. But if you were to dissect that and look and say, why do I really want that? You know, what am I really looking for? Well, I'm really looking for peace. Well, I'm really looking for identity. Why are you looking for identity? Well, I want to. As you just kind of keep asking why questions, why you want that, you'll find out that the underlying motivation behind any of your choices, it's because you want to be happy. We all want to be happy. And the true measure of success isn't your bank account. It's how happy you are, how much you're enjoying life. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. What have you tried already? You know, you want to be happy, right? Every day you're probably doing some things to get there. What have you tried? And how's that working out for you? I have a friend who has been hugely successful financially. He's been a CEO of a number of companies, and he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I talked to him, I don't know, like a year ago or something like that, and talked to him about it, and he was really down. He was angry. He was frustrated. He was talking about how he felt he'd been sold something, you know, and he didn't understand why the money didn't mean anymore what he thought it would mean, and how he had been sold this idea from corporate America that if you work really hard, you'll make a lot of money, and if you make a lot of money, then you'll be successful, and if you were successful, then you are happy. Well, he worked really hard, he made a lot of money, he was successful, and he was completely unsatisfied. He was not happy, he was not content, and he wasn't enjoying how his life was shaping out. Well, the amazing thing is if you reverse engineer this, if you start with happiness, okay, so this formula that we just talked about, that if you work really hard, you'll make a lot of money, and then if you make a lot of money, you'll be successful, and then if you're successful, you'll be happy. Well, if you start out and if you are happy, you're going to find that you are more peaceful. And when you are more peaceful, you're going to find that success actually comes easier to you. And when you are successful, you'll make more money. And you'll be attracted to great people and great relationships. And yeah, you'll probably work really hard because you enjoy doing it. So anyway, it's just it's a reverse of what we're taught all the time. So I just wanted to share that with you. You reverse the formula and you can find happiness. So now what I want to share with you is that you can take a skills-based approach, totally based on science, that will help you get happy now. Again, I have a book, I have an app, I have a course if you want to dive deeper into this. But let me share with you 3 of the 7 skills of everyday happiness. Now, the first skill is the granddaddy of them all. It is the skill of gratitude. Now, that may surprise you. You may think, gratitude? Gratitude isn't a skill. Well, it absolutely is. If you just want to Google it, Google gratitude and science and happiness, and you'll just get tons of articles and experiments that they've done on people where they will put people in social situations and they will trigger gratitude to them. For example, maybe they will have them, they'll see where they are right now, how they're feeling right now, coming into a room, and then they will have them do something like write a letter to a mentor, or write a thank you note to somebody who you haven't properly thanked, or call somebody and tell them you love them. When people do that and they start to express either verbally or in writing their gratitude for them, suddenly they start to feel these amazing emotions and they start to feel happiness. You can't be grateful and unhappy at the same time. So if you want to be happy, boost your gratitude levels, do what you can to truly be grateful. And I will explain just real quick what gratitude is. Gratitude is recognizing you are the recipient of deliberate kindness. It is this wonderful exchange of love. Recognize you are the recipient of deliberate kindness. You get deliberate kindness every day. And by recognizing that and relishing that and savoring that, you're going to be able to really enjoy the fullness of life. So skill number 1, be grateful. Another skill is to improve daily. Now, improve daily is kind of this interesting thing because we think that happiness is found in the attaining, but happiness is actually found in the persevering. It's in the trying. It's in the striving where we really feel that, because we are growing, we are expanding, we are becoming more. A lot of people that I've talked to have told me about how empty they have felt at graduation time. Here, they have this goal in mind that they're going to go to, and it's this great thing, and then they get there and they're like, this is it? But yet, when they're involved in growing, in learning new things, in trying new things, in stretching themselves, it's in that stretching that they feel the most exhilaration. So there are a lot of things that you can do to improve daily. One thing you can do is you can subscribe to this show. I know that's a blatant plug, but in each of these shows, we talk about different things that you could do to improve your life. So you can listen to podcasts, you can read books. What if you spent a half an hour every day reading a book? I have another friend who every year he will find a new skill that he wants to develop in his life. He is hugely successful. His house has 7 different furnaces. Oh my gosh, it's huge. But every year he will find a new thing that he wants to develop in his life, and he will pursue that. and he is having a fantastic time. He's becoming a much more well-rounded person. Now, another skill, again, these are just 3 of the 7 core skills. The next skill is to foster positive relationships. Now, Harvard did this longest, they call it the longest longitudinal study ever done, which is where for more than 70 years they studied these men, many of whom went to Harvard, and then they also found another group, I think they were out of Harlem, and they followed them through 70 plus years of their life, and they would interview them every few years. They would do medical tests. They would do all of these kinds of things to chart their growth, how they were doing, what was going on with their lives. 2 of them became American presidents. Many of them drank themselves away in alcoholism or drug addictions. Many of them became CEOs and won great fortunes. Many of them became bankrupt and lost everything. It was this just kind of wild study of these people who basically started out, most of them, I mean the Harvard guys, started out with everything. And when they aggregated all their research together, the head researcher was asked, what is the one factor, the one thing that you learned from all of this? And he said that relationships matter. Those who had the happiest, most fulfilling relationships were the healthiest, they lived the longest, and they had the most satisfying lives. As you listen to this idea about fostering positive relationships, just understand it doesn't naturally happen. You have to actually do something about it. So, think what you can do today. Think about a love note that you can send to somebody. You can actually express love, how that will change your relationship. Maybe it's a thank you that you haven't expressed. Maybe it's service that you don't normally do. Whatever you can do today to foster positive relationships will boost your happiness. This is all based on science. Again, if you want more help with this, look in the show notes below, and I've got more resources for you. I just want you to know you absolutely have control over your happiness. And you can be, because happiness is a skill, and because you can get better at any skill that you have in life, you can be as happy as you're willing to be. What can you add? Now, are you ready to join the conversation? Are you willing to add your voice, your thoughts, your ideas, your impressions? If so, add them in the comment section below. We need your voice. Now, if you have been inspired to take action, don't let an impression slip by. Train yourself to listen to and follow your inner voice. Of course, the best place to take action is at scottwilhite.com. Because if you join me for a free web class, you will receive a copy of my Purpose Planner, the tool you've been missing that will help you uncover your purpose. What if you are a God in the making? That would mean there's purpose to your life, meaning to your challenges. You have a great work to do. May you have the courage, faith, and power to become who you were truly meant to be. See you next time.